Hello and welcome to our flip video lesson, Leaping Forward, lesson 2.06. Let's get started. So just a quick reminder, is there time during your school day to watch the flip video? You are encouraged to watch the flip video for the next day's lesson during the independent study time. I understand though if you need to get a brain break, if you need to close your computer for a little bit during that time, and if you don't have time to watch it, it's okay. You can watch it in the evening for homework, or you can watch it in the morning before your classes begin. But it is important that you do watch the flip video before our actual lesson begins in class. So our lesson details for 2.06, your Human Odyssey reading pages 32 to 33, and your student guide workbook pages 36 to 39. And then there is an assignment in your OMS for assessment 2.06, or it is assessment 2.06. And then the topic that we will be covering is early civilization. So we're going to talk about early civilizations, how you figure out what a civilization is, and then what the actual first civilization known to us is named. So our objectives: explain farming and herding in Mesopotamia right here. Recognize how the channeling of floodwaters affected the development of civilization. Identify the earliest known civilization and identify the criteria used to define a civilization. We're going to use that word civilization a lot in this lesson. As more people begin to farm, societies changed. Some societies became civilizations. What is a civilization? When the Sumerians' window harnessed the river and irrigated the land, had they created a civilization? And how do historians define a civilization? So it is important that you do have your student guide with you, prepared and ready to go. Okay, make sure you always have that by your computer for history class. You're going to turn to page 38 in your student guide. Okay, so I'll give you a second to open that up. Open it to page 38 and you'll be able to fill in the answers. And as always, remember, if I'm going too quickly for you in the video, you can always pause to write down the answers in your student guide. All right, so you'll notice there's a cause and effect activity on page 38. Okay, right here. Second, let me move my screen over there. I don't know why it always adjusts. There we go. So on page 38, you'll notice that there's a cause and effect activity. So for number one, the cause, the people of Sumer built levees along the river and irrigated crops. And then the effect was they created a surplus of food. So by creating these levees, they were able to irrigate the crops, they were able to water the crops, and so the crops were able to grow. And when the crops were able to grow, there was a surplus that was created. And a surplus means extra. They had additional, they had more than what they needed. This is question number 2 in your student guide, again, page 38. So the cause was Sumerians produced a surplus of food, so they created this large amount of food. And the effect was that people were free to do other jobs. So they, no longer had to continually farm or continually search for food or continually, the nomadic way, the hunter and gatherer way, follow the herds because they needed food. They were able to harness that in. They were able to create more food than they needed. Therefore, they didn't need to constantly travel and move. Okay, and then cause and effect. Cause, Sumerians divided up the labor and developed specialized skills. And then an effect that happened because of that, where people got involved in big projects like building cities. So, obviously this didn't happen overnight. So you can see this began to grow. This began to evolve. More food was created. People didn't need to move. They didn't need to follow the herds. So they were able to divide up labor, develop special skills. They got involved in big projects like building cities. Okay, same page. Page 38 still. Question number 4. In the cause and effect exercise, what did you notice about the effects? So the effects turned into causes, right? There were surpluses created. So then those surpluses created different things. So it was a cycle. How do we define a civilization? There are many elements for a civilization, but the earliest civilizations developed on a food surplus, meaning an extra supply of food, a division of labor, meaning there were different jobs for different people, and cities. Cities were created so people were able to live and stay in one spot. Where was the world's first civilization created? In Sumer, ancient Sumer, which is over in the Middle East. Again, it's kind of over there, we talked about the Tigris River, the Euphrates River. Here's a quick map of it. So that's where the world's first civilization was created, or the first civilization that we know of. So this is an optional activity. You can turn to page 39, even if you're not going to create it. Please turn to page 39 in your student guide so I can explain a little bit about the optional activities. So for this one, you can create a paragraph using an outline, something that you probably do in ELA. So you're going to do a cause and effect outline, basically, and then be able to put all of those thoughts into a paragraph, okay? You're going to put a topic sentences. You can see all of that on page 39, how it's laid out. So basically, when you finish, and if you do this, you don't need to, you can skip through this part, you can listen to this. This can help you with some ideas. Your answer should explain how the Sumerians met the criteria of a civilization. So the Sumerians were able to grow surplus food by building levees to channel water to irrigate crops. With surplus food, some people did not have to spend all their time farming, so they turned to other activities. As many people with skills lived close to each other, they got involved in big projects and eventually built cities. So that's a little bit more research, a little bit more information if you would like to complete that. You do not have to, it is optional. So some needed vocabulary for this lesson and for your assessment. Irrigation. Irrigation is the operation of causing water to overflow lands for nourishing crops. A surplus means extra. Cause and effect is this relationship between events or things where one is the result of the other or others. It's a combination of action and reaction. And then Sumer is the first known civilization. And so here we come to the quote. I always like to put a quote in. I thought this one was appropriate for today's lesson. Society is composed of two great classes, those who have more dinners than appetite and those who have more appetite than dinners. And that was said by Sebastian Chamfort. Thanks for joining me today. Stay positive, stay fighting, stay brave, stay ambitious, stay focused, and stay strong. Have a great day.